Shemu'ėl Aleph, chapter 23. And they informed David, saying, See, the Philistines are fighting against Keilah, and they are plundering the threshing floors. So David inquired of Yahweh, saying, Shall I go and strike these Philistines? And Yahweh said to David, Go and smite the Philistines, and save Keilah. And David's men said to him, See, we here in Yehudah are afraid. How much more then, if we go to Keilah against the armies of the Philistines? And David inquired of Yahweh once again. And Yahweh answered him and said, Arise, go down to Keilah, for I am giving the Philistines into your hand. So David and his men went to Keilah, and fought with the Philistines, and he led away their livestock, and struck them, a great smiting. Then David saved the inhabitants of Keilah. And it came to be, when Eviatar, son of Ahimelech, fled to David at Keilah, that he went down with a shoulder garment in his hand. And Shaul was informed that David had gone to Keilah. Then Shaul said, Elohim has estranged him into my hand, for he has shut himself in by entering a town that has gates and bars. And Shaul summoned all the people to battle, to go down to Keilah to besiege David and his men. And David knew that Shaul was plotting evil against him, and said to Eviatar the priest, Bring the shoulder garment here. And David said, O Yahweh Elohim of Israel, your servant has heard for certain that Shaul seeks to come to Keilah to destroy the city for my sake. Are the landowners of Keilah going to surrender me into his hand? Is Shaul coming down, as your servant has heard? O Yahweh Elohim of Israel, I pray, let your servant know. And Yahweh said, He is coming down. And David said, Are the landowners of Keilah going to surrender me and my men into the hand of Shaul? And Yahweh said, They are going to surrender you. Then David and his men, about 600, arose and left Keilah, and went wherever they could go. And Shaul was informed that David had escaped from Keilah, and he ceased to go out. And David remained in the wilderness, in strongholds, and remained in the hill country in the wilderness of Ziph. And Shaul sought him every day, but Elohim did not give him into his hand. And David saw that Shaul had come out to seek his life while David was in the wilderness of Ziph at Horesh. And Jonathan, Shaul's son, arose and went to David at Horesh, and strengthened his hand in Elohim, and said to him, Do not fear, for the hand of Shaul my father is not going to find you, and you are to reign over Israel, and I am to be next to you. Even my father Shaul knows that. And they made a covenant before Yahweh. And David remained at Horesh while Jonathan went to his own house. And the Ziphites came up to Shaul at Giv'ah, saying, Is David not hiding with us in strongholds Horesh, in the hill of Hachilah, which is on the south of the wasteland? And now, O sovereign, by all the desire of your being, come down, and our part is to surrender him into the sovereign's hand. And Shaul said, Blessed are you of Yahweh, for you have sympathy with me. Please go, prepare yet further, and find out and see the place where his hideout is. Who has seen him there? For I am told that he is very cunning. So look, and learn all about the hiding places where he hides, and you shall come back to me with certainty. Then I shall go with you. And it shall be, if he is in the land, that I shall search for him throughout all the clans of Yehudah. And they rose up and went to Ziph before Shaul, while David and his men were in the wilderness of Maon, in the desert plain on the south of the wasteland. And Shaul and his men went to seek him, and they informed David. So he went down to the rock, and remained in the wilderness of Maon. And when Shaul heard this, he pursued David in the wilderness of Maon. And Shaul went on one side of the mountain, and David and his men on the other side of the mountain. And David was hurrying to get away from Shaul, for Shaul and his men were surrounding David and his men to take them. Then a messenger came to Shaul, saying, Hurry and come, for the Philistines have invaded the land. So Shaul turned back from pursuing David, and went against the Philistines. Therefore they called that place Selah Hamach Lekoth. And David went up from there, and remained in strongholds at En-Gedi.